Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm painting a little local area in my neighborhood. It's now November at the time of this recording, but this photo was taken towards the end of October. It was a crisp autumn day. Some of the leaves on the trees were changing, and it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun was starting to set, and I saw the golden yellow hue of the sun setting. It was hitting the road and was casting beautiful shadows on that house and the photo and through the trees, and kind of backlit the house behind the main one. And I wanted to kind of capture that in a painting. I thought it looked really cool. So I'm gonna try to capture that in this painting. I wanna capture especially the cast shadow of the branches on the house and on the lawn. And right now I'm just laying down the initial wash. Some of the lighter tones, and then I'm gonna go in and add some of the cast shadows. I'm doing everything wet on wet right now, so that way it kind of gives a soft and continuous connection. I'm going through and I'm gonna add cooler tones for the cast shadows on everything, and I'm gonna go in and try to recreate that golden hue on the road by adding some yellow ochre and gonna mix it in with some cerulean blue. Try to capture some of the shadows and I'm gonna go and add this tree in the back behind the houses and use various colors: reds, yellows, and oranges, some blues. I'm just gonna let those all bleed into each other with a wet on wet technique. I'm gonna kind of cut around the house to try to preserve some of the light on the roof. And now I'm just going to paint the house in first before I do anything with the trees on the left and right hand side, because I want to paint those last towards the end of the painting. It just makes the process a lot more easy when I'm not having to cut around the shapes of the trees and the leaves and everything. Adding some of those cooler shadows into the side of the house, and letting everything kind of bleed into each other, doing more wet on wet. I'm gonna go and define some of those shadows a little bit better by doing some wet on dry. I don't know about you guys, but autumn around here is very, I want to say short. It only lasts for like, I don't know, it doesn't even feel like a month sometimes, and then all of a sudden we're in winter time. So I wanted to get in a painting that kind of captured that essence of fall and colors of the trees changing and everything. I haven't really done many fall season paintings, so I wanted to get that in, and this photo gave me enough inspiration that I needed to do a painting like this, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Now I'm going in on the roof and I'm adding in the cast shadows from the tree. It's all harsh shadows right now, but I'm going to go in and soften it up, blend it together a little bit better. I'm going to bring back some of the highlights by wiping my brush off and dragging it across the paper and pulling back some of the color. Adding various colors in the shadows to make it a little bit more interesting. Now I'm going to go into the side of the house. I'm going to add some of the cast shadows from the awning and the siding. And this is all being done before I even touch that tree on the left-hand side there. Now I could paint the house in a way where I would just cut around the drawing of that one branch there, but I think the way that I'm going to paint it, just to make it so I'm not like coloring inside of the lines, I'm going to just paint the house very minimal on that side, not too much detail, not focusing too much on the windows or anything. And then I'm going to go in and kind of paint over that side of the house, so that way if there's little gaps in between the leaves or the branches or anything, the house can kind of shine through. It's a little bit more realistic. Right now I'm just working on those windows, trying to get the reflections in, some of the shadows. And then I'm going to go in and touch up the house behind this one, because it's not quite receded, it's not off in the distance. It's still there, but it's not the main focus. So I don't want to add too much detail. There really isn't that much detail even in the photo. You don't really even see it other than the roof and the chimney, but I do want to make those stand out a little bit better. But before I do that, I want to add some of these bushes in. I'm going to do various colors and tones and values. Make it more interesting than just one solid color, because then it tends to feel quite flat. And even though there's not a fence there in the photo, I think it adds a little bit more interest. And there I am, just touching up some of the driveway with a mix of like yellow ochre and some gouache, some white gouache. I'm not being too specific with anything, just suggestive little details and things like that. Leaving it all up for interpretation. Not trying too hard to define anything too much. And here I am going in and touching up, adding a little bit more to the house behind that main house there. Adding some cast shadows onto the roof. I'm gonna try to go light enough where it's not pulling it too much to the foreground, but just enough where it doesn't feel like it's an off-distance mountain or something like that. Doing some splattering techniques so that the bushes kind of show some of the house behind them. Again, I'm being very suggestive with those bins. I'm not trying too hard to define them. Just leaving it up for interpretation. And there I am going in and painting the tree on the right hand side. Going for a more transparent wash, trying to get the initial wash down of what colors I want for the tree, and then going darker as I go down. Kind of hide that roof behind it. And blending it into the garage. The garage that's there in the photo is actually connected to a different house, but there is a garage for this house. It's just not in view. So I just decided to add one. Here I am finally adding in the last and final tree in the photo. Switching up colors, but still trying to keep the overall value. Random little shapes. I'm not entirely happy with how these branches turned out. I think they're a little too long. And then I'm going in and darkening the value of that shadow. And the shadow that actually stretches across this lawn here is partially from the tree on the left-hand side, but this longer one is actually from a tree on the other side of the road. But it helps kind of connect the shadow from the tree on the left-hand side to the one on the right-hand side. Kind of connects and pulls everything together so that they don't just feel like two separate entities. And then I'm trying to create the illusion that there are leaves falling off of the tree and landing onto the grass below. Adding some telephone wires, cables, things running up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.